Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here this evening. We're going to go ahead and start the council meeting, and we're going to start with the invocation from Rabbi Isaac Grossman, and he's the administrator of Eitzheim Schools for boys and girls at the junior rabbi of the Jewish Council of Casa Grande. We'll have him come up, and then if you're willing and able to stand, we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Honorable Mayor Lisa, esteemed legislators, and distinguished guests, it is a true privilege and honor to stand before you tonight to offer the invocation as we begin this important meeting. On a personal note, my journey from New York to Casa Grande just a few years ago was a decision made with hope and great anticipation. My wife and I moved here seeking a better future, affordable lifestyle, and a safe, nurturing environment for our family. We are blessed with 7 beautiful children, and just 1 month ago, we welcomed our youngest into the world. Today also marks my 15th wedding anniversary, a milestone my wife and I are delighted to celebrate with all of you in the city we now call home. Since arriving, we have been warmly embraced, and we are truly happy with the choice we made to join this wonderful city. Thank you for making us part of the Casa Grande family. And with that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Almighty, the one who made our journey here possible. It was not easy. The same Almighty God who guided my family to Casa Grande is the one I now ask to bless this city, its leaders, and this gathering. Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth, we thank you for the gift of this community, for the city of Casa Grande, and for the people who call it home. We are grateful for the opportunities you place before us and for the freedoms that allow us to gather openly and responsibly in your presence. May it be your will to bless our mayor, legislators, and all who serve the public. Grant them wisdom to lead with clarity, integrity, to act with fairness and compassion, to hear every voice. May their decisions be guided by justice and peace, and by a sincere desire to do what is right. Bless the residents of this city, our families, our children, our seniors, and all who live here. May Casa Grande continue to be a place of safety, growth, and unity, where neighbors look out for one another and differences are met with respect. Almighty God, just as you have guided journeys before us, guide this meeting tonight. Let the words spoken here be thoughtful, the intention sincere, and the outcomes beneficial for all. And may your presence bring peace to this chamber, strength to those who lead, and blessing to this city. God bless Casa Grande, and God bless America. Amen.
Amen. Mayor Fitzgibbons, may I have the floor for a moment? Last week I made an announcement about the passing of our friend John Ellsworth. Had a long history with the city of Casa Grande, our community. He was the elected Justice of the Peace of the area. He passed away at the end of December. I wanted to announce that his memorial service will be this Saturday at Crossroads Church on Florence Boulevard. It starts with a visitation and viewing at 11 o'clock, and the services will begin at noon. Everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Badillan, and thanks, Bob, for making that announcement. Okay, first item on the agenda are the minutes. Oh, sorry. Roll call, you're right. Adriana, if you can please accept for the record that all of the council is present.
So noted.
Now we're on to the minutes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to accept for the record the city council regular meeting of January 5th, 2026, and accept for the record the minutes for Arts and Culture Commission of December 2nd, 2025, and the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of December 4th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next are the claims.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve the claims report for December 30th, 2025 through January 14th, 2026.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries on the claims. The meeting agenda approval? Any changes to the meeting agenda?
Madam Mayor, we have no proposed changes, but a reminder that we will be asking council to convene an executive session, so you may want to do your reports before we do so.
Okay.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we move reports ahead of the executive session on our agenda.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, special presentations. We have swearing in of new officers. Nice to have you all here today. So if you want to go ahead and come up, and I believe Adriana will get that started.
I state your name.
I,
Andrew Placencia,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will
bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and defend them against all enemies,
and defend
defend
them
them all
against
all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of police officer
discharge the duties of police officer
according to the best of my ability,
to the
according
best
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Yeah. Congratulations and welcome. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Congratulations and welcome. Happy to have you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Happy to have you guys.
Congratulations.
Good luck and stay safe. Okay. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Is there anything that the council would like to pull from the consent? And staff or members of the public?
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I would move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please, Adriana.
Councilmember Romo,
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards,
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston,
Yes.
Councilmember Herman,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, public comments. I have a few speaker cards, but I did want to read this to kind of tell you what we're doing during this part of the agenda. The Casa Grande City Council values citizens' input. When called, please state your name and address, speak clearly into the microphone, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. In fairness to all speakers, please Please do not exceed your time. In accordance with the law, the City Council cannot respond or discuss items not listed on the agenda, but may direct them to staff upon conclusion of all public comments. So I'll go ahead and start with the speaker cards that I have. And the first one is Rochelle Robinson. Thank you for coming, Rochelle, and I know you have here no address. So, can you pull the microphone towards you? There you go, perfect.
Yeah, my name is Rochelle Robinson. I have no address right now. I'm homeless. But my point is, I live here in Casa Grande. I moved up here in 2011 from Maine. My husband passed away 4 years ago after 32 years of marriage, left me homeless, and I have no place to go. And this law through the city is really, really putting a lot of people with nowhere to go. You know, it's like Barbara's helped me out a little bit. She's been a blessing to me, actually. And other than that, Cara put me up for 30 days, and then they just cut it right off and expected me to go right back on the street again. And the only reason why I'm not is because of Barbara. And I just think something can be done. I mean, there's a lot of people out there like me, you know. Not everybody's a drunk or a druggie just because they're out on the street. There's other reasons we're out there, you know. So I just wanted to say something about that.
Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you for coming.
Yep.
And Barbara, I believe you're on here too, Barbara. And if you can give your address, please.
My name is Barbara Sundust. My address is 1273 East Cordova Avenue, Casa Grande, Arizona. When I started coming to city council meetings, my plea was for a campground or something for the homeless and tent people. That need still exists. And when I see some of them at Laundry Love and ask them where they're going to spend the night after they do their laundry, it is finding a hiding place or walking around and sleeping wherever they can. So that need still exists. And I think it is the responsibility of the citizens of the city to help find a solution, since we exasperated the situation with an ordinance and no backup plan. Rochelle didn't say very much, but her story emphasizes the second need that we have for a shelter where people can stay longer than a month and maybe help pay with some of their Social Security or whatever, and get help finding an affordable apartment and a job, and help with maybe financial education, services, etc. The 1 month apartment help is just, it's not enough to find an apartment and a job, especially if you don't have a car. So you have to, and then when the month runs out, like Rochelle said, you have to hunt for people to help you pay at the CITE or wherever it is, and then you're back on the street, which means that you're moving and hiding again. And my last point is truly to find affordable apartments. So I did a Laundry Love thing. I know I only have a minute. I did a Laundry Love interview with some of my people and asked them to write their situations. So this is Dora, 71 years old. She's living in a small house. The roof is not in good condition. It's falling down in her room. She's afraid it's going to fall on her. I have a pipe broken in my kitchen sink, and I have to put a bucket under it and then just carry the water out of the house. So I also do not have a heater for her house or a cooler, and my toilet is not running too good, so I can use it too much. She says, I need affordable apartment. So, and then I have one other one that they don't have running water in their house, so they have to carry water for bathing and cleaning. So something that's affordable is just absolutely what we need. And $1,000 a month is not affordable housing if you're living on Social Security. So my last statement is it just seems like caring for orphans, widows, and poor pretty generally is a responsibility of everybody in religious society. It has nothing to do with your religion.
Good timing, Barbara. You must have practiced at home. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you for coming. Okay, next is Jacob Petrosky. Hi there, Jacob, and if you can give your address, please.
Yeah, I'm Jacob Petrosky, 194 South Amador Trail. Gave my name already. I've lived in Casa Grande since 2018. I want to begin by being very clear. I'm not anti-technology, I'm not anti-police, I'm not anti-government or anti-public safety. What I am here to speak about is mass warrantless surveillance and long-term consequences of deploying it without fully understanding how modern machine learning systems actually work. Across the United States, systems like this have already been used in ways the public was never promised. Nonviolent people being tracked without warrants, misuse by insiders, including officers spying on former partners, immigration enforcement far beyond original intent, false accusations of crime, and wrongful stops and arrests. These are not hypothetical risks, they're documented outcomes. Flock emphasizes that images are deleted after 30 days and that they do not sell customer data. That sounds reassuring, and it would be if it was 20 years ago. But modern machine learning systems do not work this way. The moment an image is captured, machine learning models extract metadata. Not just license patterns, but race, age, sex, body type, weight, clothing, passengers, movement patterns, and associations. That information is inferred automatically. Once it's extracted, deleting the image does not undo what the computer has learned. The use of what it calls anonymized data, doesn't really work in 2026. Anonymization does not mean safety. AI systems can re-identify people with high accuracy, using only patterns such as timing and behavior, even without names, faces, or license plates. The police chief has publicly described this technology as a game changer. It is. Warrantless access to the movements of every resident is a game changer. The ability to retroactively search where people have been, who they were near, and how often they travel certain routes without probable cause or warrant fundamentally changes the relationship between residents and their government. There is now no practical way for me to leave my home on any paved road in Casa Grande without my movements being recorded, analyzed, and categorized by your new surveillance system. If I personally followed the mayor around town and took pictures, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get in trouble, right? The intent may be different, but the effect on residents is not. Casa Grande no longer feels welcoming home to me. It feels watched, it feels monitored, and it feels uncomfortably close to a system designed for containment rather than community. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that was good timing too. And Jacob, if you are willing to talk to one of our police officers, you can definitely do that at some point. Okay. Michael Cruz.
Thank you, Mayor Fitzgibbons, members of the council, Mike Cruz, Lucid Motors. My personal residence is 1113 East 9th Street here in Casa Grande. Like the others, I'd never plan or rehearse. I tend to do better on the fly, so here we go. I actually come here today on behalf of Lucid Motors and the Lucid family just to say thank you. Thank you for standing strong and firm when our community was challenged by our outside organizations, testing not just the resilience of all of you, but also the resilience of this community. And what I'm referring to is the worker power movement to stop Lucid Motors' potential expansion here in Casa Grande. At Lucid, we're focused on delivering not only the world-class, most efficient EVs and most beautiful EVs in the world, but also our people. And the idea of the outside influence trying to impact our way of life here in Casa Grande was disheartening, not just to me, but many others. And I believe firmly that by you standing strong and the community coming together, it allowed us to be able to send a message that this type of behavior will not be tolerated in Casa Grande. And we're happy to hear that the worker power movement dropped the referendum request and decided to let your vote and the vote of this community be represented in that vote being prevailed. We're very thankful for the opportunity to be able to do business in this great city. We're thankful for the opportunity to engage this community in many aspects in the way we engage as part of our community engagement plans and also our government affairs plans. Lastly, I just want to say thank you to the community who stood beside us. There's not many people I've come across in Casa Grande that have no connection to Lucid, whether it's a friend, family member working there, a neighbor, someone that they know, someone that they trust. We're all impacted by the employers in this community. It's important that we stand lock and step with them side by side to support them, because they're the ones that provide us the opportunities and the quality of life we all deserve. And on behalf of Lucid Motors, we're very thankful for that. We appreciate your work and concern throughout the entire ordeal, and we stand here very appreciative as we get ready to continue our manufacturing and our ongoing growth as we lead to Q4 production for the introduction of our midsize, which is our third vehicle in the Lucid lineup. So on behalf of Lucid, thank you to this community. Thank you to you all. We appreciate all the support. And more importantly, I think this whole ordeal is a reflection of how close we are as citizens, as residents, as neighbors, that during times of need and during times of adversity, we come together as one to do what's most important. That's to uplift the voice and the interest of the people of this great community. So thank you very much. We appreciate it, and Happy New Year.
3 in a row.
Thank you. Okay, Jeff Lavender.
I thought Mike was going to give me a minute when he looked like he was going to finish early, but I'm Jeff Lavender, 1212 East Clearview Drive, and high school superintendent, Mayor Fitzgibbon, council members, and 7 proud graduates of Casa Grande Union High School.
We are.
I'm here tonight to talk about our CG Wins event that Mike and I are in the process of planning for our community. We've had some excellent things happen to some of our community members recently. A couple weeks ago, you saw Kenny Salinas, who's going to find out on February 5th if he's the NFL Fan of the Year, our president of the food bank. Lucid is helping sponsor a pep rally for him, in which they have graciously agreed to donate 5,000 meals to the food bank for us. We'll be recognizing Kenny at the pep rally. We're also going to be doing a clinic for middle school students 4 through 8. The Arizona Cardinals are going to sponsor. Thank you to Anthony for helping us get the sponsorship from the Cardinals. We're going to have some players out there as well. Also at the pep rally, we're going to be recognizing Jesus Ramos, our new world champion boxer. He'll be there with his belt. And Jesus is a graduate of Vista Grande High School, but it's somebody that made a goal to be a world champion, has worked his way through that. And so we'll be recognizing him. We'll be recognizing Kayla Tacker, who was just recently named Arizona Cardinals Girls Flag Football Player of the Year. Casa Grande is unique, and Angel Flores was the Boys Player of the Year in 2021. Kayla is the Girls Player of the Year in 2025. There's one other high school in Arizona that can make the same claim. They've had the Boys Player of the Year and the Girls Player of the Year during this time period, and that's Hamilton High School with their 4,000 students. And so we're an elite company with our athletes here getting Player of the Year. So we'll be recognizing Caleb, we'll be recognizing Sawyer Barth, who his story of losing his father in 4th grade, beating leukemia, applied for a scholarship that 36,000 people applied for, and one of 2,000 accepted for a full ride to Duke University, and $450,000 scholarship. Also, our cheer squad has earned a berth into the national championship from Casa Grande Union. We'll be recognizing them as well. The theme of this pep rally is Casa Grande Wins. Across the board, all of these citizens are winning. They're achieving great things. Today, Jody and I sat down with these students. Doug Cameron Armstrong is going to be emceeing the event. He's a senior at Union. Right now, he leads the 5A in scoring for soccer right now. Our students, our community continue to excel. We're excited to have Lucid as a partner in this, and we hope all of you can join us on Friday, January 30th. The clinics from 2 to 3 o'clock. We'll have Cardinal players out there. We'll have our players, both boys and girls, from both schools, Vista and Union out there. And then the pep rally moved from 3 to 3:30. And so let's all come out and celebrate as Casa Grande continues to win. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Now is the time. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public comments. And now we're on I-1. Kevin?
Thank you. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council approve a bridging agreement with Allison Mills Contracting to relocate a sewer line at St. Anthony's Church for a total amount not to exceed $201,816. We're going to be entering into this bridging agreement, taking advantage of a Pinell County job order contract number 233828. It's a job order contract that we've used in the past, but it enabled us to get the process moving very quickly to get Allison Mills under contract. So if approved tonight, we'll have them under contract and be able to move forward with this project. As you're probably aware, there was a fire at St. Anthony's Church, and that building was condemned, so they tore that building down. Our downtown area was laid out in a grid system historically, and the sewer lines were all located in east-west, generally east-west lying sewer lines in the alleys. Over the years, there were approvals to have buildings constructed over the top of those sewer lines. Not something that I would do today, but something we have to live with. And fortunately, the opportunity that this gives us to relocate this line will allow the church to take full advantage of their property and rebuild their church the way they have it planned. So we will, if approved, the contractor is ready to move forward right away. This ordinance, if approved, will cure on the 16th of March, and that'll be the first day that they start the project. Of course, moving up to that point, we'll be working through all the contracting and basically dotting the i's, crossing the t's to make sure they're ready to go. Approximately a 4-week project, so mid-April we'll have that project finished up. Basically taking the sewer line at the manhole just upstream from the church and taking it south to a manhole that goes to the west. Simple project, but we're able to move fast, move appropriately on it really quickly. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions, comments? Okay, we can get a ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 3496, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Allison Mills Contracting LLC for job order construction services for the St. Anthony's Church sewer relocation, authorizing the expenditure of public funds, authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to Allison Mills Contracting LLC, and authorizing the transfer of budget authority.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve ordinance number 3496 as presented.
Second?
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? We can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Houston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem B. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Item number L1. And who's that? Jacqueline. And James.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. This item in front of you is a zone change request for property located near the southeast corner of Bisnaga and Pinell. The applicant owns just under 9 acres of land. 2.5 acres is currently zoned B1, which is our neighborhood services zone, and the remaining acreage is zoned urban ranch. The request is to change this property from those 2 zone districts to the B4 Community Services Zone District. Here's another angle of the property where Pinell Avenue, which is predominantly to the west of this site, is shown towards the bottom. But as you might be familiar with this site, the most current use was Rockworks, but before that it was Greens and Things. As you can tell, this site has had a history of different uses that involve landscape supply, greenhouse type uses, which is not appropriate in its current zoning districts of B1 and Urban Ranch, but would be appropriate in the B4 zone district. B4 is known colloquially as a heavy commercial type zone district. It does allow some very light industrial type uses as well. Typical uses would be for contractor equipment storage yards, self-storage, uses very similar to, like I say, the previous Rockworks business and Greens and Things were. There are some other uses that could be proposed on this site that would be subject to a conditional use permit, which would be a separate application process. The applicant has not provided any sort of plan yet for this property, although he does intend to develop it as a contractor equipment storage yard potentially, and or self-storage. When reviewing zone changes, these are the criteria that have to be followed, and the staff report goes into these in greater detail. I do want to say that with regard to conformance with the general plan, it sits within the Commerce and Business General Plan designation, and within that designation there's a list of appropriate zone districts. Interestingly, neither the Urban Ranch zone or the B1 zone, which this property is currently designated, is considered appropriate in the commerce and business category. However, B4 is considered an appropriate zone. There is concern about the potential of certain uses with respect to how close it is to existing residential to the east. A couple of thoughts on that, however, is although that normally you do see along the Pinal corridor B2 zoning, which would also be appropriate here, staff and planning commission agree that B4 is appropriate in this location as opposed to something more like B2, because where you would really want to see the B2 zones are on prominent intersections, prominent corners, where they would highly attract more of the retail and restaurant type uses. And given the fact that to the east of the site is Urban Ranch zoned property, you have lots that are well over an acre in some cases, or at least in 1.25 acres minimum. So that does kind of naturally lend itself to some lesser compatibility challenges, because there's space on these lots and opportunity to alleviate some of the potential impacts. Another concern or just interesting thing to point out about this site is that if you notice, the parcel boundary on the south basically consumes the Santa Cruz Wash. It sits on the property. And because of the sensitivity of that wash, there are some conditions that address that with regard to developing the southern portion of that site. There are also some conditions in place with regard to that sensitivity to the residential area, because that's not to say that just because they're large lots, there's no concern. There are some recommended conditions that will help address potential impacts. Regarding the public notification process, the city met that which was required by code. As a result of the notification, we did get a couple of inquiries. The one that was definitely the most important was from the owner of the property directly to the east. They had some concerns about what type of uses would go there. They were not, they had some reservations about the potential of increased traffic and crime and noise. And so again, the conditions of record that are reflected in this proposed zone change help address that. At the January 8th Planning Commission public hearing, on a vote of 6-1, Planning Commission did vote to forward to City Council a recommendation to approve this zone change request, subject to these 5 conditions. Specifically, the conditions that help address the concerns about the Santa Cruz Wash and the compatibility would be number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Calling for specific screening and architectural design. And with regard to the wash, number 5 indicates no development or disturbance shall occur within 75 feet of the southern parcel boundary other than habitat restoration, etc., that maintain this area as riparian habitat as much as feasibly possible. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, James. Any questions or comments? No? I guess not, James. And the applicant was fine with the conditions, they were, okay.
Yes.
Good. That's great. Okay, since there's no questions, this is a public hearing, so I'll go ahead and open it up if there's anyone that would like to speak. Okay, if there's no one, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And Adriana, if we can get an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 1178.472, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance number 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from Neighborhood Services B1 and Urban Ranch UR to Community Services B4 on property generally located south and east of the southwest corner of Bisnaga Street and Pinal Avenue, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve ordinance number 1178.472 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, item L2.
This request is to amend a portion of the Casa Grande Mercado PAD to accommodate a proposed hotel. The Casa Grande Mercado PAD is perhaps the oldest planned area development zone district in the city. It was established, I believe, in the early 1990s. And the applicant is seeking approval to develop an extended stay hotel in the location identified on the screen. Just to familiarize everybody with this area, the Casa Grande Mercado PAD sits at the southeast corner of Florence and Camino Mercado next to I-10. The subject site is just over 2 acres. And really what's driving this, as I mentioned, is they would like to construct a 4-story, 50-foot tall hotel. The existing Casa Grande Mercado PAD identifies this area for retail and commercial uses. That in and of itself may not exclude hotels. It's hard to say if hotels is technically it's not retail, but it's definitely commercial. But there's a maximum height of 24 feet. And then within the PAD, it did specifically identify a location not within the subject area, allowing for a hotel at a height of 60 feet. That's where Cracker Barrel now sits. The requested amendment would specifically identify the subject area, which is just south of Popeyes and Burger King, to allow a hotel use at a height of 50 feet with a floor area ratio of 0.59. Currently, the PAD identifies that area to be limited to 0.23. The other benefits of the amendment is that it would specify other development standards that aren't currently stated within the PAD guide, such as minimum setbacks. And it would reflect this area, which is known as lots 4 and 5, as one parcel. There is a replat under review that would accomplish that. It would combine lots 4 and 5 as well as the access drive to the south to place it all into one lot. To explain what I mean by that access drive, the PAD and the existing plat calls for an area to the south of 4 and 5 as a common area for public access that would bring vehicles to Camino Mercado from Camino del Norte to the east. That's the main street that you would take to get to the AM/PM and to cut over to Cracker Barrel. The replat does combine this area into one lot, but does preserve that strip as a public access easement for vehicular pedestrian travel as well as for utilities. And so that will be maintained as a way for traffic to cut through to Camino Mercado. When reviewing amendments to PADs, these are the criteria that have to be addressed. The staff report gets into these in greater detail. I do want to say that staff and Planning Commission did find the request to be in conformance with the general plan designation for this property, which is Community Corridor. Community Corridor supports development of diverse activity centers that incorporate various building sizes and land uses. One of the key objectives is for infill development. This definitely would be regarded as an infill site. It's hard to attract retail and commercial uses in this location because it's screened by Popeyes and Burger King and Dutch Brothers and the other businesses lining Florence. And this is an opportunity to bring a hotel use at a taller height so it is visible, and it'll bring a new mixture of customers to the area for those retail and restaurant businesses. City met the notification requirements that are required by the code, and there was no correspondence received. At its January public hearing, the Planning Commission voted 5-2 to forward a recommendation to council to approve this amendment. I don't want to speak for the planning commissioners directly, but the general sense of the dissenting votes was due to traffic concerns and also just the bulk and scale of the building. However, staff and the planning commissioners who voted to approve must have a differing position, of course, but basically I would say that the next step for the applicant would be to submit a site plan, which will be reviewed for conformance with this PAD, if approved, as well as ensuring that all the infrastructure is adequate, such as meeting traffic concerns, etc. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you, James. Any questions, comments? Anthony?
Yeah, James, just looking at that photo of that area, it looks like that's going to be really tight. The setbacks are, because they got to be set back away from the fence line of the Popeyes and the restaurants in front of it. There's a setback there, and there's a setback on the other side, on the Mercado side, right? And they'll be able to fit this hotel there.
Mayor, Councilmember Edwards, that is a good point, and one of the advantages in this case is they have provided a conceptual site plan so that it can be demonstrated how the building such as that could fit on this lot, and that's what I'm sharing on this screen here. It does appear like it would be a pretty tight site, but they are demonstrating that by placing the hotel basically dead center. It not only does provide a fair setback to the north and to the south, but they are able to accommodate for the required parking and open space. But yeah, I agree with you. I always have a hard time sizing things when they're, especially when they're empty, and seeing what could fit in that spot. But the site plan is showing that it can fit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple things come up with this. You know, I've talked to a few people. A couple people aren't exactly for it, but not hard against. You know, they're like, well. But one thing that helps me with the height is that right next to it, it was already kind of approved for that height, and the hotel's got to do that. You know, so that helps. There's no homes. The last time we did I remember doing a hotel, is that the homeowners were worried about people looking in, you know, into their yards and whatnot, which I understand. So this doesn't have that issue. One thing that came up in the public, you know, the Court of Public Comment, Facebook, was about having more restaurants instead of hotels. But one way to get more restaurants is to have more hotels and more people eating at restaurants. So you know, that helps me get there as well. And then, but one thing people is, do we need more hotels? Well, I don't know. I'm not in the hotel business, you know, and they are. So, you know, they wouldn't get the money, they wouldn't do it, I don't think, if they didn't think they were gonna be successful. And this is a different product than what we have opening and stuff that we have already in town. You know, on the other side of the freeway will be more of a Marriott, dual branded concept, and this one will be a different type. So, you know, and visible from so yeah, I mean, I think they've done a good job getting everything in there. And, you know, they'll have to do a traffic study, right, with their thing.
Correct.
So we'll know if that's gonna fly or not, right? That'll help with the concerns there, and then finishing that drive. So, I mean, the good outweighs the bad, I think, for me. So, anyway, just to address people's concerns.
Right.
It's kind of where I'm going. And I forgot the most. I got this. I was in the tourism meeting this morning, and it's estimated by a company that's used by the tourism group to keep track of metrics of people that come through town, that we lost 160.8 thousand room nights last year, because we don't have hotels here that people will stay at. So I think closer to the freeway might help that, but it's a 16.5% leakage rate, whatever that means, but it's on my thing. But, you know, I know what it means, is that we're losing that many people to closer hotels in other cities. So another opportunity, you know, to draw people to town and to get, you know, I mean, to have them stay here, spend some money here, and find our city, just as we heard earlier. So, I mean, I think that's important to know, that we are losing room nights for lack of hotels. So, there you go.
Thank you.
So it's an extended stay? So who does that cater to specifically? Is it people that are just coming for like a couple nights, or, I mean, is that open to whoever, or what, how does that work in comparison to the other hotels that we have?
So the applicant is an extended stay hotel, and they can speak to what their specific target customer is. However, from what I have heard from other extended stay applicants, is it's intended for a mixture of guests who aren't here just for a weekend, but they are either relocating here and they're waiting for their house to be completed, or they're contractually here. So they're staying here for a month, 2 months, too short to necessarily want to enter into a lease, but more complex if they were to try to find a night-by-night hotel. But you're right, that does raise some questions in terms of, well, what types of variety of guests could there be? But like I said, I believe the applicant is here, and they could speak to that model and other places where they're located.
And we'll bring, is the applicant Reagan? Reagan, is it Reagan? Okay, Reagan. Hold on, let me see if anyone has any other questions, and we can have you, any other questions?
I just got one statement. I know that the city definitely needs more hotels. Every time we have a major event in Casa Grande, they sell out, or they're charging, they go, oh my God, I can't believe I just paid this much for a hotel room in Casa Grande. It was like, I could have stayed in Scottsdale for the same price, you know? And so I definitely see the need for more hotels here in Casa Grande.
Right.
The extended stay, you know, I've heard a lot of negative things about that, but at least this is in a better location that's away from people's homes and stuff like that. So that's where I kind of stand.
And it really is in a great location, and of course, you know, the whole infill piece, you know, that what else can you really, you know, put there? And we definitely have a need, and what I liked about it too, the location, is it's in our transit service area. So someone that stays there can, call CG Link and go over to the mall, go down downtown or whatever. So it is a good location being right there off Florence Boulevard. So, okay, so this is a public hearing, and so we'll go ahead and open it up. And I do have Reagan Crotwell here, and I know it said that you were here just to support and not speak, but do you mind coming up and answering the question about the extended stay piece? Okay. And if you can give your address for us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Reagan Crotwell. My address is 2390 Tower Drive, Monroe, Louisiana, 71201 zip code. To just speak to the question about the extended stay style or type of hotel, essentially that just is offering our guests appliance amenities within each guest room unit. So there will be a dishwasher, a full-size refrigerator, a small cooktop, all housed within a kitchenette unit, so that they can stay in and cook inside the hotel if they should so choose, instead of having to get out and go about the town if they were renting long term. It's an amenity that caters well to that type guest, but then the room also is catered toward folks in the transient sector, coming in for just a few days at a time and then moving on out of town. So it's kind of an offering that's the best of both worlds that we find to be very successful in markets as such.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, anyone else would like to speak? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and if we can get an ordinance number.
Ordinance number 1178.473, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, approving a major amendment to the Casa Grande Mercado PAD generally located at 611 North Camino del Norte, Casa Grande, Arizona, to revise the uses and development standards for lots 4 and 5.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move to approve ordinance number 1178.473 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote.
Councilmember Ramo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Okay, item L3.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This request is a zone change. The site is located at the southwest corner of Gila Bend Highway and Burris Road. The zone change request is from B4, Community Services, to I2, General Industrial, on approximately 23 acres. I did want to note, as noted in the RCA, this was rezoned to B4 along with the southern portion to I2 in 2016. This was done prior to the general plan update that was done in 2021 and the influx of industrial in this area. This zone change would allow the parcel to be uniformly zoned to I2, and that total parcel would be 150 acres. Here's the zone change review criteria covered in detail in the staff report. I'll be going over the 2 highlighted items tonight. Regarding the first review criteria, that the action is consistent with the city's general plan, including the goals, policies, and other applicable elements. One of the goals in the manufacturing industry category is provide and expand this land use area to accommodate a variety of industries. And an action step is to identify locations where it would be beneficial to increase the manufacturing industry areas within the city. And another goal is to encourage appropriate and responsible industrial development in appropriate locations. And also, per the general plan, here are a list of appropriate land uses and appropriate zoning categories within manufacturing and industry. I do want to note that while B4 is an appropriate zoning category, in this land use category, the owner would like the parcel to be uniformly zoned to make it more appealing to users. And the third review criteria is that the proposed zone change is necessary and proper at this time to meet the land use needs of the residents of the city. The city's current demand for general industrial is significant, and this rezone would expand that available area. I did want to note at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, there were questions from the commissioners about the PAD zoning to the north of the site. The PAD calls for single-family duplex-type product along Gila Bend Highway and courtyard homes along Burris, with some additional commercial along the highway as well. This was zoned to PAD in 2006, and the site does not have certificate of assured water supply, so it's uncertain how this will be developed in the future. And also, there is existing residential Western Manor at the northeast corner of Gila Bend Highway. And also per our general plan, the Gila Bend Highway is considered a gateway to the community. So with that, staff has included conditions of record to ensure compatibility and to address aesthetics along the highway. And during the site plan process, there is additional opportunity to ensure that development is compatible. Regarding the stakeholder process, the applicant and staff met all the requirements, including a pre-scoping letter that was sent out in October of last year. I did not receive any comments or inquiries regarding this request. And the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 7-0 to forward a recommendation of approval to City Council for a zone change from B4, Community Services, to I2, General Industrial, with the following conditions of record. I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Any questions, comments? Doesn't look like it, Jacqueline. So if we can, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone that would like to speak, it looks like I do have a speaker card. And is it Jessia? Oh, okay.
I'm just the applicant if you have questions.
You're the applicant. Okay, if there's any questions, the applicant's here. Any questions, comments? No? I guess not. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Anyone else? We'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and if we can get an ordinance number.
Ordinance number 1178.474, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance number 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from Community Services B4 to General Industrial I2 on property generally located to the southwest corner of Gila Bend Highway and Burris Road, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move approval of ordinance number 1178.474 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Ramo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem P. Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. And last one, item L4.
Good evening. One more time. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Before you, I've got TSA 250118 for Marigold Crossing. This is a zoning amendment. So the request is, our applicant originally requested a zone change. Zone change is kind of a misnomer. Really what we're looking to do here is amend the conditions of record. So it is currently R3 with conditions of record. It will remain R3 with conditions of records. We're just looking to amend those. Planning and Zoning's recommendation to the council was to, originally it was to remove the conditions of records, but instead of removing them, we recommended that they amend them instead. And that is what Planning and Zoning forwarded to approve. And then these amendments are acceptable to planning staff, the applicant, and to the neighboring properties. Here's the proposed site. It's west of Pert, just south of Florence. Florence is north there, just past where the photo is cut off. So it is currently, like I said, zoned R3 with conditions of record. And the general plan designation is community corridor, which does support R3 development. So here is a conceptual site plan. They are proposing eventually to be a new senior living, 3 stories, an 81-unit building for senior living. So in 2015, when they originally went to develop this, they zoned it from, one part of it was PAD, part of it was Urban Ranch. They zoned it to R3, had the conditions. One of the major conditions was that it was to be used for units for individual sale, so condos. At that time, that development never realized, so that parcel has sat vacant and undeveloped until our applicant here, or the applicant here. The issue is that without cause, we cannot do condos for single unit sales. So it is currently undevelopable. So by removing or amending that, that one condition, this would allow that development to go forward. And as I said, it's currently R3 multifamily type housing product with conditions of record. It will remain that R3 multifamily. So that is not changing from what was originally designed to be there. Here are the amendments, changes that were made. These were also in the memo and the staff report. All the public hearing notifications that are required were met. We did have a comment at the Planning and Zoning Commission hearing where Jerry Warren, representing J. Warren Funeral Services, did express that they had no major objections to the development being proposed. They have been working with the applicant for agreeable conditions. So that having been met, their one concern is just having that fencing that separates this property from J. Warren Funeral Home, and respecting the type of business that goes on there and that customer clientele. So with that, Planning and Zoning Commission voted 7-0 to forward a recommendation to approve DSA 25-00118, request by Woda Cooper Development, Inc. for a zone change or a zone amendment for these properties. Like I said, it's going to be R3 with conditions of record to R3 conditions of record. Are there any questions?
Any questions, comments? Sure.
I think, yeah, this is a great infill project, and I'm glad the neighbors are good with it and everything, and it should be perfect, you know, because that land's been vacant forever. basically. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it has
Yeah.
been.
Like it'll fit well into that area too.
Is it like a traditional multifamily, or is it all like more of like a senior facility where they're all inside, but they're individual rooms? You know what I mean? I mean, does it look like a regular apartment? Because
So this
the
will,
diagram looked
if
different.
I understand, and the applicant is here tonight, but as I understand it, this will be 81 single units.
Okay.
So a traditional style of apartment.
Okay. But
While
all
being,
single unit, like one bedroom?
I believe so, 1 and 2 bedroom.
1 and 2 bedroom, okay, okay. How many units did you say?
81.
81, okay. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, so this is a public hearing. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing if there's anyone that would like to speak. Now's your chance. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. We'll let you off easy, no questions for the applicant here. So we'll go ahead and if we can get an ordinance number.
Ordinance number 1178.370.1, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance number 1178 and its subsequent amendments by amending the conditions of record for the R3 zone for property located generally south of East Florence Boulevard, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor Fitzgibbons, I move that we approve ordinance number 1178.370.1 as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if we can get a roll call vote, please. Adriana?
Councilmember Romo?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston?
Yes.
Councilmember Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dillon?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgibbons?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I know we have an executive session. Before we go into that, we'll go ahead and start with any council reports. So, how about Sean, if we start with you?
No reports. You guys are probably gonna cover everything I wanted to cover and do a better job at it, so no reports today from me.
Okay, thank you.
No report, thank you.
Good.
No reports.
I know, wow, see, it's good. We were all on vacation. We all didn't do anything.
I have reports. No, just, I get to serve, as I mentioned earlier, on the Tourism Advisory Group, and that organization has purchased a very powerful tool that gives us data and metrics on who's coming to events, so we can, like, the Electric Light Parade, they did that. There's over 100, like 91,000 people came to see the Electric Light Parade. You know where they're from, how long they stayed, all that stuff. So that's where I was getting the information about the hotel nights. But that information is provided to the people that put on events, like the Copper Country Music Fest got one, Rotary Club Oktoberfest got one, so that way we can tell. And the tourism group takes that all together so that we can better target people to come and have better things. So it's pretty neat. So that's where we get that. So, and we are also talking about the Taco Fest coming up in March. So that'll be something to look out for, and I should tell you the date of that. March 21st at Dave White Park. So that's coming up. And then also got to attend the street fair this weekend. Very cool event, perfect weather, great car show, great turnout. The city helped get some of that stuff together, so we appreciate the city staff for getting people open down there. And of course, Main Street, who is in charge of that whole thing, Holly and her group, which is not a lot of people, but a lot of volunteers. And they were all down there, and it was just a great event as usual, and one of our most attended events in town. So good job to them, and the car show was awesome, and it was just a great time down there. So
Great weather.
yeah, and then want to thank the Terry Emig and his friends with Biplanes did a flyover, perfect time for the national anthem. So that was great. And then also a group had wasn't really a fly-in, it was just a training for formation training at the airport, and I got a lot of great feedback from them about how helpful the airport manager was and how great the airport was and everything. So they were very happy, and some people got to see a lot of aerobatic formations and tricks this weekend. It was pretty cool. We saw one doing a loop, and yeah, it's pretty neat. So
Great.
that's all I have.
Thank you.
I wanted to say thank you to Scott McEwen and the MLK committee. We had a wonderful day of service on the 19th, on Monday. Yesterday was very, very successful. A lot of youth. We gave 250 boxes out to those that were in need in our community. We had service cleaning up the alleyways, Florence Boulevard, all the way back over to the old Votech building. Bishops. And so it was a wonderful event. A lot of people came out, and we look forward to number 5, which will be next year. Reminder, chamber dinner this coming Friday, 6 to 9 at the property. And I think you're going to hit on the other one. And so that's all I have.
Thank you, Anthony.
Should say that Anthony did a great job speaking yesterday, and he did a wonderful job at our Unity March. I think we had about 900 elementary students. We had Cactus Middle School, all of our students, which we have about 700 students. And then we had student groups from CGMS, from Valago, Choya, Cottonwood. We all started at Lencola, marched down to Parrott Park, where Anthony and the mayor spoke. They did a wonderful job, and Danny did a great job with the Parks Department. The police department did a wonderful job making sure our students were safe. We really appreciate that. And of course, Jeff Lavender, who started this, was a big support in the planning process too. And it was a great event that we just love to do, and we appreciate the support from the city with it.
Thank you.
I forgot to mention, thank you to the city. They helped us out a lot with a lot of things, even on the Unity March, Parks and Rec, Danny, as you mentioned, to all the help assisting us. We had a power outage that morning. Man, we was able to get the power back on before the MLK Day of Service started. because my music wouldn't work with no power. And so, but anyways, just want to thank the city and the APS as well, getting that power back on.
Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, no, and again, thank you to both of you for participating on both of those committees, both of them. Councilmember Romo did a great job that just having all those youth there and the signs and the energy and the speeches, were great, having the little kids. And then yesterday to have our high school students there as well as a lot of our community members. That event is growing every year, and so thank you to, of course, Scott that started it, but the whole committee and the city, because I know we have dedicated staff that are there on their days off and working to make this a great event. But, it's so nice to, to have our young people, when we have a 3-day weekend, and I'm guilty of it, you think, yay, 3-day weekend. Don't really care about what that day is, but it's good to reflect on what we're celebrating. And that's what I loved about it, and especially yesterday, because it was actually Martin Luther King Day. This is why you're off school, you're off work, and we were able to remember, his legacy and service and what it's about, serving the community and serving others. And so thank you for your inspirational words, Anthony. We're always in awe every time he talks. But literally, but no, it was really good. And there were so many kids that came up after that were so excited, and especially for those freshmen that came, and they're like, do we do this? Do we get to do this every year? They were really excited. So thank you to all those people that put that together. So as you guys know, the legislator started. They're booming here. I think the first day it was 300 bills, and I think they're up to 1,000 now. And so we're going to start getting updates. Rob, has been really active in participating in the calls and finding out what's going on. So we'll keep everyone up to date on what's happening, as we move through this long session. So we'll be hearing more. We today, I've been meeting with our legislators, our representatives here, and I met with Senator Kelly today. There was actually several of us. So he was in Phoenix and met with several business leaders and community leaders, and so it was really good getting his perspective on what's going on and priorities, which many of the priorities are our priorities. Public safety, he says, is number one, for him, and so they're going to try to dedicate more funding to public safety in communities. Infrastructure, and so I was able to talk to him just briefly after and talked about our infrastructure needs with the amount of growth that's going on in our city. So definitely, picked his brain there for a second and going to follow up and meet with him in the future. So, we're just, still want to make sure that we're in their, space and letting them not forget who we are here in the city of Casa Grande. So, and if you can all mark your calendars for our State of the City, there's a lot of State of the Cities coming up, and I'll go ahead and share with all of you if anyone wants to go to any of the other cities. All of our surrounding communities are going to have these events in February and March. So if anyone, I can definitely share those dates with you. But ours is going to be March 4th for those of you that are here. Please mark your calendars, and we're doing an evening event this year, so we can make sure we're giving people the opportunity that can't get away from work to attend this event. So I think it's 5:15, and it's going to be at Casa Grande Union High School, so please mark your calendar. Hope you can join us. So with that, we'll go ahead and end this meeting and go into executive session. Do I need a motion? I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And thank you, everyone, for coming.